file's open. Esipenko like grabs that pawn, but like it's anyone's game here. But this absolutely is going to be comforting for Esipenko, because sometimes in chess you think about, how am I going to win this game? How do I open up? How do I create winning chances when they're not there? And that takes a lot of time and energy, and you end up spending time on the clock. Here, you're already in there. You've been given the fight that you wanted, so you just focus on finding the most accurate, sharp moves, and it takes away any of the overthinking of the strategy. How do I actually imbalance the position? None of that anymore. Now it's just mano a mano, like just let's go. Whose king is weaker? We're gonna find out.
Wow, the move rook e5. Definitely one of the better moves in the position. There's bishop c5 immediately, and also this bishop on a6 can be a little bit loose in some variations. I'm also looking at the move h6. In general, you'd love to maybe somehow keep sacrificing to try to open up the H file. Overall, just love the pressure that this is creating. But as you pointed out, it's not necessary. Nihal with a draw is 100% qualified, and this is the game that he plays. It just reminds me of that, I guess, the advice that you always are told when you need a draw or a draw is the desired result. Don't play for a draw, because if you start playing for a draw, your level is going to be lowered. You're not going to be playing objective. You're going to be trying to trade too much and simplify. And you're not going to be looking for the actual best move in the position. And I think Nihal took that advice all the way, like way past maybe what you should, because he's just going for an all-out attack when all he needs is a draw.
Yeah, and he's lining up a nice move him on. If bishop c5, queen to f3, I think is his plan. And there are some tactics from Andrey here. Bishop c5 pinning, queen f3, pins all over the place. But I see some very bad things happening to black after that move. Now, I might be missing something. Yeah. It's got Nihal thinking. I don't know how much I trust that eval bar. I'm trying to ignore it. But queen f3 is not a threat yet. There's rook takes b5. But if the bishop goes to c5, now you're blocking that potential. And you'd love to get your rook on a1 into the game. You want to overload the black queen, defending f7, defending c6. How are you going to manage to do that? I think there's a move here, but I don't know what.
For white?
Probably for both sides. I mean, they're looking at such fun lines, but yeah, for white.
Yeah, this is definitely a very fun position, but after bishop c6, queen f3, it does appear to have really liquidated, like the life has kind of been sucked out of the position a little bit, which is exactly what Esipenko wants, because if you're looking at the position, the pawn on g5 is, first of all, defended by the bishop, but it also holds back the h-pawn, the f-pawn, and if we're simply counting up the material, white is also up a pawn. And then to top it off, you have the a-pawn, which is a pass pawn, protected pass pawn at that. So the endgame only looks good for white.
For sure. Whether you have passed the pawn and dark squared bishop, you can just push that pawn all the way to a7. I mean, the bishop might be able to tuck itself into g1 in some lines. I was just going to have bishop e7, a5, bishop takes g5, bishop g1, and a6, a7 is coming. So that looks like it might be played.
I'd see that on the board.
Because if it wasn't played, if Nihal, doesn't fight for the g5 pawn, then black's got to deal with the weak h7, f7 anyways, and still the a-pawn runs. So he's at least trying to claw back some material. But I think if white keeps that dark squared bishop, puts that pawn to a7, Nihal's going to have to be passive, put a rook behind it, and play for a long time down a rook in essence. Because I don't see how you can overpower that a7 pawn anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a good point. And just seeing that pattern, and I think it's been spotted by Esipenko, of bishop takes g5, bishop g1. Just, it could be any bishop move, but bishop g1 really drives the point home.
Bishop f2 as well, by the way. Yeah.
Bishop f2, kind of the same idea, but less stark. There's no need to really prove the point with bishop g1. And yeah, a6, a7 is happening next. Material is equal, but the game is far from it.
No, as soon as bishop f2 gives the king room to go to g1, just in case they want to get mated on the h file or get pinned. I don't see a good line for black. Nihal played very aggressively, very energetically, and you don't want to just backtrack, but there's no move. You have to play like this. And now I'm saying, like, this is going to be a game where that bishop on f2, not only does it support the pawn, but it has the whole diagonal all the way, b6, e5, d4. So you want to bring the rook on a1 into the game. You want to improve the rook on f3. And there's good chances to eventually overpower everything. Nihal's probably going to have to sacrifice at the right moment, but that shouldn't be enough if you look at the material. So I'm thinking that this is actually close to a lost position.
Right. Yeah, the only thing that I can say is working for Nihal here is that he kind of it does feel like he has a 3-on-1 against white on the king side, and white's c-pawn is not the fastest, as we can see here. It can be taken, and it's not going to be that dangerous, at least for a few moves. I'm assuming the rook's going to go back to b7, and I guess at least the moves are simple to play. I think black is much worse, but at least you kind of just have to play like f5, e5. I don't know. Try to get the pawns going.
Yeah, we've seen Nihal in difficult positions. He still doesn't take too much time. He can play bad positions confidently, which is a big skill.
This is an interesting move. I think it's very good, but for some reason in my head, I was so set on leaving my rook, supporting my a-pawn. Probably too set on that. I don't know why, but yeah, he's reminding us, okay, we can also make threats on the f-file.
We certainly can. And where do you put that dark squared bishop if you're black? If you move it off the square to e5, there might be bishop h4 check. If you go to g5, you move the bishop somewhere, maybe f7 gets hit, and you're kind of going backwards. Maybe f7 gets hit, h7 might get hit. You can't move the rook from b5 off of the fifth because of this bishop c5 check move. So Nihal needs a good pass here or some holding move. I didn't see it. I thought you had bishop h4 check here, but maybe.
Yeah,
maybe there's
the
something
same.
else.
And is there also the possibility of like c4, and if you can get your bishop to like bishop c5 and rook f7 could be stronger, and then rook a5.
That's the move I'm on. That's a great find. c4, fantastic find. Bishop a5, bishop e6. That's it. That's a great find. The rook runs out of room on the fifth. That was imperative that the rook stays there, and it can't.
Yeah, now it's all collapsing.
And this just changes.
That's a good attempt.
Because of bishop c5 check, king e8.
Yeah, bishop c5, king e8.
Did you see something?
I think black might have to go back bishop g7 if I'm looking at what you're looking at. Oh, wow. Now that one escaped me. I was so excited about my bishop c5. It was all I was looking at. And this one might just be simple and strong.
No time to play f6 because takes rook f7. No time to play king d6 because you get a check on the d file. And the body language for Nihal here, he knows this is lost. That puts him away. And all of a sudden,
pile up at 5.5 points.
Yeah, the other players are getting a bit nervous now.
amazing. Kind of saving it for the final hour here. Final round against someone that looked unassailable, like just couldn't lose. And well, I think that's it right there. The bishop is lost, and the game as well.
Very professional.
That's right. It just doesn't
Probably
matter.
put a bishop on d6 at some point. Oh,
yeah. Rook c3, rook d6 coming next, and then the pawn just goes down the board.
Yeah, I think the result is not in question here. So I'm very curious about the board 2 between Bortnik and Yakubiev, because Andrey Esipenko is going to win game 7, keep his chances alive with great chances of qualification, 5.5 out of 7. Nihal should be in anyways with this loss because of his tie breaks. There's no saving this game. And now it's boards 2 and 3 that are going to determine if 5.5 is clear qualification or requires some tie breaks. We can stay for the finish.
Probably just keep pushing. This looks like it's 100% over. A couple checks here for Nihal, but he's also going to be flagging. And hopefully after this, we can immediately check in on that other game